What's up, guys? Welcome back to the channel. So we finally got a little bit of news in the handheld PC space, and this time from Xbox. And we all know that they've been cooking up something over there as far as a handheld is concerned, but it looks like we've got some more information coming out of an article from Jez Gordon over on Windows Central. So I want to go through, take a look at that and see what they're saying about the upcoming Xbox handheld. All right, so let's check this out. Exclusive Xbox's new hardware plans begin with a gaming handheld set for later this year with full next-gen consoles targeting 2027, which would be interesting because there's been a ton of rumor that 2026 holiday time would be the next generation consoles, but it sounds like this might be more like a 2027 thing as far as those go. All right, so let's get more into this because it does look like instead of building their own in-house device like a console, which is kind of what I was more hoping for, but we'll get into that later. It does appear that they're going to be more partnering with someone and doing more of a PC handheld Xbox branded, kind of like Valve is doing SteamOS with Lenovo. So we'll get into all that here and talk about it, but let's get more into the article here. Microsoft's first full foray into PC gaming handhelds begins with a partner device set to launch later this year with its own Xbox Series X and X successors now fully in production. So we'll get those next generation consoles from in-house as usual, which again was rumored to be 2026 holiday, but looks like 2027 while they are working also with a partner to get the handhelds made. Here's your first glimpse at Xbox's next generation hardware plans, and some parts are being executed more quickly than you might think. The Xbox Series X and S generation has been a bit of an odd one. Microsoft's Xbox console hardware sell-through has declined quarter over quarter for some time, but Xbox's addressable monthly active user base has been skyrocketing, owing to the purchase of Activision Blizzard. Armed with mobile games like Diablo Immortal, Candy Crush Saga, and Hearthstone, atop core games like Call of Duty, World of Warcraft, and Overwatch, Microsoft's future in gaming is all but guaranteed. What has been a little less clear is Xbox plans for hardware. Yeah, they've obviously been gobbling up companies and becoming putting together quite a portfolio as far as their publishers and their franchises that they now own and what they're doing with that moving forward, which I think it's becoming pretty obvious that they're putting those games everywhere, at least they will be, and also continuing on with their own hardware and partner hardware. I don't think they're necessarily stopping anything anytime soon as much as they're just really expanding. Kind of like doing a Sega, but without getting rid of the hardware because they do have Microsoft behind them to continue all that if they want. They've got a record of doing hardware just to do it. Microsoft does in the past anyway. So they can continue to make consoles and stuff like that on their own all they want while they're continuing to put games everywhere. Kind of a different approach, not full on going as a third-party publisher, but more still having everything in-house, but putting those games in a lot more places. So we'll see what they do as we move forward. Let's see what else we got here. Microsoft's been putting its exclusive console games like Forza Horizon 5 on the PlayStation to help grow the profitability of its business. In the near term, addressing users where they are is far more cost effective than what Microsoft would need to spend to acquire new Xbox console users potentially. Yeah, it's much easier to offer games where there's already hardware or streaming services and things like that to get more users rather than just expand your console base. However, the strategy has been questioned for the long-term damage it might do to the Xbox console hardware. Microsoft appears keen to continue servicing its legacy Xbox audience with new hardware regardless, and over the past few months, I've been working to figure out exactly what that might look like. Here's what I've learned. So we'll get into the rest of what he has here, but yeah, like I've been saying, I don't believe Microsoft Xbox is moving away from their own hardware anytime soon, but they're certainly going to expand with putting their games in front of as many gamers as possible. All right, first up, Microsoft is working with a PC gaming OEM, think Asus, Lenovo, MSI, Razer, etc., on an Xbox branded gaming handheld. Surprisingly slated for later in 2025 if plans are met. Codenamed Keenan, this gaming handheld will look unmistakably Xbox, we're told, complete with an official Xbox guide button and Xbox design sensibilities. So that's pretty interesting that we could see this as soon as this year. So maybe something announced during summertime, the old E3 times, and maybe releasing this holiday season. I could see that being a possibility, or maybe they have something ready sooner. Given that this is a partner device similar to Lenovo's SteamOS partnership with Valve, which I talked about earlier, I expect this handheld to be more PC oriented. It'll most likely run full Windows, putting the Microsoft Store and PC Game Pass front and center alongside the ability to install things like Steam. So the thing about this is I know that I'll be probably in the minority here. I know most people would prefer to have an Xbox handheld that is a full-blown Windows PC with the ability to have Steam or any other launchers and have a front end like Game Pass or something that the Game Pass app that makes it easier to navigate. I don't know. For me, we kind of have all these Windows handhelds already that can do so much. I was more interested in an idea of Microsoft making something in-house, more actual console like, giving us a more Switch like or Steam Deck like experience. I know not everybody would necessarily want to have the console version of the games, but it would sure streamline everything and take away all the PC things that a lot of users need to do or that don't want to mess with in games. And I think would have been interesting for a handheld. And if Sony makes a handheld, I actually think that's the route that they'll go, is sticking more with their console experience there. But anyways, we'll see. Let's get into the rest of it here. This device will likely serve, at least in part, as a research experience for Microsoft. I expect a handheld will test new Windows 11 device-aware capabilities while reducing third-party OEM bloatware that are typically on devices like the Legion Go, ASUS, and all of those always have a bunch of extra stuff you either got to get rid of or you can install an unbloated version of Windows or all of that. I expect Microsoft will leverage widgets on the Xbox Game Bar on PC for controlling things like TDP and fan speed, while hopefully having a more streamlined OS experience for controller use. Of course, existing PC gaming OEMs will benefit from these efforts as well, but the research will also help with Microsoft's further out plans. Yeah, so I just don't know what they're going to do necessarily. Hopefully, they'll have something really awesome to show about a streamlined experience or a gaming handheld Windows overlay or something better with the app. But there's definitely a lot of work to do there that they haven't shown us yet to make something more Steam Deck or console or Switch like experience, but still running Windows. We got to see how that really pans out. The MSI Claw does a good job of using the Xbox Game Bar stuff though, and you can use that to control a lot of things, and they've incorporated that. So I could definitely see Microsoft doing something similar there. So it says, indeed, our sources also indicate that Microsoft's internal successor to the Xbox Series X and S platform has been fully greenlit all the way up to CEO Satya Nadella. For now, anyway, I understand that Microsoft's next-gen hardware plans include a premium successor to the powerful Xbox Series X, alongside its own Xbox gaming handheld, and several new controller options. Tentatively, these new console devices are slated for 2027. Again, I think we were originally thinking something like holiday 2026 on the next generation of consoles, but it's looking more like, sounding like 2027 for that, with something as early as this year though on the handheld side, at least for the partner device. So pretty interesting there. So everything else here really talks about more about the next generation consoles still being back compatibility and all that kind of stuff, and looking forward to 2027 for those. But what I was more interested in here was pulling out that information for the possibility of a partnered device, a partnered PC handheld from Xbox here this year. And that's something I would look forward to testing out here. Again, it might not be the direction I want to see them go, but maybe it will work out for them in the long run. But anyways, guys, I thought that was some news worth going over. Let me know if you would be excited about checking out any kind of Xbox partnered device. For me, it's really going to depend on what they do with the UI and what the partnership is all about. Because again, I was more looking forward to a console handheld, like a Series S shrunk down to a handheld that could run all the games. Maybe not necessarily identical to that, but just because of that streamlined console experience, but that would lock out a lot of PC stuff that I know a lot of people would want as well. But we have so many of these Windows handhelds. This is really going to have to do something different if it's not coming out as an actual console handheld, like maybe the Switch or the Steam Deck is perceived, since that thing works a lot more like a console than a PC, even though it is more PC than console in its soul. So anyways, guys, that I thought was all interesting to go over here. Let me know what you think in the comments down below. And as always, thanks a lot for coming and check out the video. I really appreciate it, and I'll see you in the next one.